So Ben, welcome to the Executive Podcast. It's great to have you here today.
No, thank you very much for having me. I've been looking forward to doing this, so yeah, it's good to be here now.
Yeah, in a very nice studio.
It's amazing. I've had a look at all the setup and everything like that, and it's it's pretty impressive.
It's very cool.
Sorry, my fault. Just going to stop you there. I'm just going to pull in the shot and then a wee bit. So we'll just hold fire just a wee second. Sorry.
No worries. Do I need to start from the top again?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Rewind.
Yeah. A wee cup of tea.
Yeah, I was actually speaking to someone recently. Can't remember who it was, and they were saying Morocco. You need to go to Morocco.
Oh, it's incredible. It's like £45 to fly from Edinburgh.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Really cheap. And it's so cheap when you're there too.
Yeah, we've kind of talked about it over the years, but Kieran's always been like, oh, I don't know, like, what's the city, like, what's the area like and things
It's
like
safe.
that.
It's so safe.
Yeah. Whereabouts in Morocco?
So the first time I was just in Marrakesh, and then now I've been all over
Mhm.
Marrakesh, a place called Chefchaouen, which is like a blue city.
Right.
That's maybe like an 8-hour drive from Marrakesh though.
Right.
And then Agadir.
Guys, so sorry. So we'll go back to workings. Okay, that's recording. David off cams.
So Ben, welcome to the Executive Podcast. It's great to have you here.
No, thank you very much for having me. Been looking forward to doing this, so it's good to finally be here.
Yeah, no, it's been a long time coming.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I just wanted to take you back a little bit. You know, we're going to talk about what SFG does in a moment, but I just wanted to ask you, what was your first job and what were you like as an employee?
Interesting question. So my first job was probably when I was about 12 or 13, possibly 12, and I worked cleaning pots in kitchens. So my first job was in a hotel, and I was just cleaning pots, and yeah, it was just a graft. It was good. It was a graft. I don't know if I should have been working at that age legally, so I won't mention any names. But no, it was really good. It was a really good experience, to be honest. Looking back on it now, I think if I mentioned working at the age of 12 to my 12-year-old daughter, she'd have a heart attack. But you've got to start somewhere. So yeah, cleaning pots in a hotel, and I did that for many years.
Yeah. And I guess then what I want to know is, what is it you do? What's your job now? And what is it that SFG does?
Yeah, so I am the product manager at SFG. I don't know, I feel like I'm a bit of jack of all trades. I kind of do bits and pieces, but my main focus is on one of our software products that we have. It's called SFG Mentorship. It's an online mentoring platform. It's used by universities, charities, businesses, and it helps them deliver their mentoring programs online, and it kind of streamlines the processes that they have for that. So that's my main focus, and I do a lot of the sales and marketing and looking after our customers and bits and pieces of everything when it comes to that. And then kind of across the business, I do a lot of kind of business development, networking, just try to get the name of SFG out there, and just try and help the team out where I can, basically. And in terms of what SFG does, it's kind of two sides to the business. So the software development side I kind of touched on there. We've got a team of excellent software developers. They do bits and pieces of work for our kind of IT customers as well, and they do bits of other work for other outside customers. And then we've got two software products. So we've got SFG Mentorship, which I mentioned, that's been on the go for many years now, and is going really well. And we've just launched a new product called SFG CoachNet. So Mentorship looks at mentoring, and we've taken all our experience from that, and we've got the platform and all the great features, and we've put that into this new product called SFG CoachNet, and that looks at more coaching and, you know, the professional side of coaching and professional development and things like that. So that's our software side, and then the main bulk of the business is our IT support side, and that's where we support businesses around the Highlands, islands, and further afield in some cases, and just help them with everything to do with IT support. And that works on a contract basis. We're based in Inverness, but we can always be on site where we need to be. But it's about helping local businesses when it comes to IT support.
Amazing. And what is it that SFG stands for? I think it's Small Friendly Giant, but am I wrong?
You are absolutely correct. So yeah, it's a small friendly giant. So the idea behind that, when the company was started about 15 years ago by Robert and David, our directors, the idea behind Small Friendly Giant was it's a small friendly team that you're dealing with, but you're getting a giant service out of it. So we don't want to, it was never their idea to be this massive corporate company that has all these different locations and things like that and massive teams that you're dealing with. It's just a small friendly team who are good at what they do, and they're there to just provide a giant service. So that's what the SFG stands for. So
Oh, I love it. It's so cute.
yeah.
SFG. And I guess, how did you end up there? What's your journey into what you do now?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I've actually had this conversation a few times over the last few months because my nephew's going through exams and figuring out his path in life and things like that. And I've kind of tried to share with him that it's not as simple as picking a job, and that's what I'm going to do. So my path is, I played football for a long time, still play football, but I was at Cali Thistle for about 10 years until I was about 18. Cleaning pots, kind of in between playing football. And then at 18, I was released from Cali Thistle, and I had an opportunity to go and play a few games down in the kind of central belt. Didn't really know what I was doing, but it turned out these were trial games for getting scholarships to play football in America. So I played a couple of games, got 4 or 5 offers to go and play football in America, and I went and did that. So I got a full scholarship, I got a degree at the same time, and I was playing football, so it was an amazing experience. And the degree I got was in PE and healthcare. Kind of an easy one to pick because I was playing football and I loved doing PE in high school, and that's what I went with. So I did my 4 years in America, spent some time in Canada, and then came back home and had no interest in anything to do with PE as a career. So that was a bit of a waste of a degree. Really good experience, waste of a degree. And so I just picked up a job at Capgemini doing IT support on the kind of front line, very basic. And I kind of, over kind of a couple of years, a year and a half, I kind of worked my way up to managerial positions at Capgemini. Again, it was more just organising things as opposed to being really technically knowledgeable. And at that point, my son was due, so it was kind of like, right, I need to knuckle down and really find out what I'm going to do. So I actually ended up at a company whose headquarters were based in Inverness. They were just starting out, and they developed HR solutions for organisations like SSE, NHS. So I joined them, and I was doing product support for them. So kind of supporting the IT, making sure if there was any issues coming up with the software that the team were fixing it, and just organising that kind of side of things and managing the team there. And that was great. And I was there for 4 years or 5 years. And they actually went into administration at that point. So I was a wee bit lost for a few weeks.
Yeah.
I actually had a month off, and the first 2 weeks were great. The second 2 weeks were a panic. Panic stations a wee bit, but I got in touch with loads of local businesses at that point with my CV and what I could do and things like that, and what I thought I could bring to their business. I got loads. It's amazing. At that time I didn't think about it as contacting all these Highland businesses, but I did, and what an amazing response I got from almost everyone that I emailed. I must have emailed about 60 different businesses, and it was such an amazing response, really encouraging. It was just amazing. But David, our managing director from SFG, actually got in touch with me and said, we don't have any jobs right now, but it'd be great for you to come in and we'll have a connection, have a chat and have a cup of tea. So I did that. Again, told me there's no positions available just now. So we had our chat, that was great. And then a few days later, he phoned me and said, we'd love to create a job for you, create a role, and we'd love to have you in the business. So that's how I ended up at SFG. So it's kind of been a roller coaster ride. My dad worked in IT.
Yeah.
And it was something that I was sworn against. I was like, I'm never doing that. That's not going to happen to me. And here we are. So yeah, it's funny how
it
funny
works
the path
out.
that you can take. Yeah. So
No, that's really cool. And I guess that's testament to your character as well. I mean, emailing all those people and just going for it. Where do you get that from? Where is that kind of...
No idea, to be honest. I mean, my dad's, he's had his own businesses. He's quite entrepreneurial, quite driven. So possibly from there. But I was kind of in a position at that time. I knew a lot of people through playing sports and growing up in the area, but in terms of business, I didn't have a lot of contacts or a great network, and I was quite young and naive, so I wasn't totally sure on how do I do this? Like, what is the solution? So I just kind of had to come up with myself and just say, right, I'm just going to put together 50, 60 emails of businesses I think I could go into on some level and just drop them an email and see where it goes. And like I said, it was really encouraging, but amazing the response that I actually got from people. They were really encouraging, and they didn't have any work at the time, but they could say go to this place or get this resource or speak to this person. So it was a really good experience, even though I maybe only came away with a few offers. So.
But it just shows you that if you do, you don't ask if you don't get. No, you don't get if you don't ask.
Exactly. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And I think I've said this to other people as well. If you don't have to wait for a job to come up to send out your CV and type up this really formal thing. Just get in touch with someone, pick up the phone, send an email, and just see what happens. Yeah. Worst they can say is no.
It's very true. It's just taking that risk, isn't it?
Yeah.
And how did you find that transition then from being in America, Canada, playing football, doing PE, to then, I guess, something completely different, being in business? How did that go? Yeah,
it was a funny one because, again, business was never... I just didn't know what I wanted to do, and business was never on the radar. And football was really easy for me because I'd always done it, so I knew my routine, I knew what I was doing, I knew I had training, I knew I had games, I knew the teams I was in. I had a really good bond with all my teammates that I played with and still in touch with, a lot of them. So it was a bit of a strange transition going into the working world, I guess, when I went to like Capgemini. But I always knew it was a stepping stone to something else. I wasn't going to be there forever. But whether it was Capgemini or the other business I was at, it was called Level, or SFG, I think the transition from playing football and things like that was almost really easy because it's, any sport, you're playing in a team, you're making relationships, you're making connections, and forming bonds. And it's the same now when I'm out and about for SFG. I've got a really good network now of local, really inspiring business people that I can rely on, I can go to, I would call friends. So yeah, it's a strange jump, and I never thought back then it would be where I am now, but it's just it's a funny path that you can take, isn't it? Yeah,
you just don't know where you're going to end up.
Yeah.
And I guess then for the SFG mentorship, that's probably a lot of your football stuff has helped with that, because that is a lot of mentoring and getting alongside people. Have you found that?
Yeah, I mean, being part of the SFG Mentornet and working with all our customers, whether it's universities, charities or businesses, they're all different types of programs and delivering different types of mentoring. It's kind of opened up my eyes, and I was maybe always exposed to mentoring, I just didn't realize it at the time. So whether it was coaches playing football or teachers I had in uni or teachers I had in school, family members, or now at SFG, I would consider David, who is my managing director, a great mentor. So you've got all these mentors through life, you maybe just don't take them for granted as a mentor. And playing football and sports in general's helped as well to understand maybe not just the mentoring side, but the mentors and the mentees that are being mentored as well, and how much they need the mentoring. So it's a great area to be involved in, and the customers we work with it's a fantastic experience to be able to work with them.
No, that's great. And I guess you've talked a bit about as well is that you've now got this amazing network of business people across the Highlands that you consider friends. And I guess for some people, maybe networking sounds like the most scary thing in the world. Sometimes it can be a bit nerve-wracking when you're walking to a room, social room. What's your kind of tip for people for networking? How do you, what's your way around it?
Yeah, I mean, now it feels dead easy to walk into a room and just kind of insert myself into a conversation, or I know someone, so I'll go and speak to them. But when I first started kind of putting myself out a wee bit, it was really daunting and nervous, and standing up in front of a room full of people and talking to everyone. Yeah, it's quite daunting. It's scary. But I would just say, be confident. People are there to help you as you can help them. So it's quite reciprocal. So you're all there to help each other. It's not, people aren't going to be judgy and focusing on flaws, or you've maybe said the wrong word or anything like that. People don't care. They're just there to help you, and they want to build connection as well. So, yeah, it's just going in with that kind of open mindset and just a bit of confidence, and knowing that you're all there to help each other, really, especially in the Highlands with its own wee kind of community. Yeah, everyone's there to help each other.
And for SFG, what is it that sets it apart from other IT firms and software firms?
Yeah, I mean, there's other ones in the area, local ones, larger ones that are from, down south in England and things like that have moved up. So there's lots of options when it comes to IT. I think at SFG, what sets us apart is we're truly local. So we are based in Inverness. It's all local people in the team. We've got people that live in Forest, people that live in Granton, but the team are based in Inverness. And the knowledge that is in the team is incredible. I mean, it's the age-old thing. If you go to like your parents' house and they're like, "Oh, the Wi-Fi's down, can you fix it?" I'm like, I don't do that. I'm not that technically knowledge. If I had my team from work, absolutely, they'd have it done in seconds. But the knowledge they have is incredible, and not just the knowledge, because it's one thing having the knowledge and knowing all these things. It's the experience they've been through as well of working for so many different types of businesses, different types of customers. The knowledge is just readily available for our customers when they need it. And I think, I would say, it might be a bit biased, but that's probably unparalleled with anyone else in the kind of area.
And you've been really building your team lately as well, haven't you?
Yeah, it's really grown over the last few years. I think that's because we've built a really good reputation. We're getting lots of customers coming on board, but it's also, I think it's just part of businesses getting back to normal and doing more as well themselves. And I think people are also realizing that having someone there to do your IT support is a really important part of being a successful business. So if they can let us worry about their IT support, they can worry about more important parts of their business, and they can focus on that instead, and we can just look after their IT for them. So it kind of saves them time and money. So yeah, I think what we're doing is really good. The team's grown a lot, and yeah, it's just a fantastic team we've got at the moment.
And how do you do that when you're choosing team or staff members? Are you part of that process at all?
To be honest, the kind of culture at SFG is very open and transparent. So a lot of the decisions that are made are kind of shared with the whole team, and everyone does get their chance to have their say. But generally, so if someone's coming on board for the IT support team, the IT guys will they'll deal with that because they know what they want, they know what they need. Even that they're good at, to be honest. And we've been really lucky. I know, one of the things that I find comes up in conversations I have with people is recruitment is an issue for a lot of people. I hate to say it, it's been really easy for us, and we've been really lucky. We've just found the right people at the right time, and they've just slotted into the team, and they've just hit the ground rolling as well. And you can't really ask for much better than that. So we've been really lucky when it comes to recruitment.
And that's really encouraging to hear, because like you say, that has been a big issue for Highland businesses. So.
Absolutely, yeah. I know different industries are a wee bit different, but even when it comes to like IT support or kind of technical people, in the Highlands anyway, before COVID, it was such a small pool of people you had a selection from, if anyone was even available. And now the working environment across the world has totally changed. People are working in the Highlands, but working for a company in London, and they don't ever have to commute. So you're competing with that as well. But like I say, we've been really lucky with the people that we've been able to bring into the team.
Yeah. And I guess that's proven because you have just launched a new product as well, haven't you? SFG Wi-Fi. Do you want to tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we've got IT support. IT support is for customers who are looking for everything to do with IT support, but we've actually found as well that there's a need for just SFG Wi-Fi as a service by itself. So what that kind of entails is you don't need everything to do with IT support. You might just want us to look after your Wi-Fi for you. And that can include setting up a new kind of Wi-Fi network. It could be upgrading the one that you currently have, or it could be maintaining what you have or what we've put in there for you. So you've got different options. And what we do is we just come in and we'll be able to do a kind of audit of what you currently have for your Wi-Fi. And then we can tell you how we can improve it. I think we've already found a lot of traction with it. A lot of businesses are coming to us and saying, yeah, we need help with this. We didn't realize this was an option. Like, you can improve it so dramatically. So we've now, because like you said, we've been building the team, we've been able to bring in those skills and that knowledge that we already had in the team, but we're able to build on it even more so with the people that we brought on board. So it's been good so far, and we're really excited to keep going with SFG Wi-Fi as its own kind of service, as part of the kind of SFG brand. So it's been really good so far.
And do you think that connectivity is still an issue in the Highlands for people?
Yeah, 100%. I think even in the city centre, I think the options, or maybe people's knowledge of who to go with and the setup that they need, people just maybe don't know or don't have the expertise, and that's fair enough. They're busy running their business, and that's where we can come in and help them improve the Wi-Fi and the connections that they have within their business or venue. But even more so when it comes to rural areas, it's just really difficult for businesses, and it's almost a barrier to be able to run your business if you don't have that connection for Wi-Fi. So that's where we can come in and get that set up or improve what you have, and it just makes sure that you've got kind of seamless connectivity for your business, which is really important.
Well, it's necessary, isn't
100% nowadays, yeah. It's just so needed. I was speaking to someone recently, and they were saying, they work from home. They've got a home office, a couple of people working for them there, but they go on calls with people, or they're working away on a really important bit of business, and the internet just drops. So you're losing your call. It could be a potential customer. It could be work that you're losing. So it's so vital to a business nowadays. And that's where we can come in and just make sure that that doesn't happen to you.
Yeah, because it is that first experience if you are meeting a new client. And then there's nothing worse if it freezes and you're like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, no, it is needed. And I guess for you, back to yourself, what is your favourite part about your role?
My favourite part is, I do lots of different things. I've really enjoyed the sales and marketing side. I've kind of picked it as I've went along, but I feel like I've kind of really found a good fit there. But probably my favourite part is just meeting different kinds of people, because I kind of do that for both sides of the business. So when it comes to the IT support and the Wi-Fi, I do lots of kind of local networking. We're part of the chamber, and we're part of a BNI, and these are both excellent groups to go out, meet people, meet businesses, and build connections. And it's really good to meet everyone in the area. Some I know already, some are new connections. But then the mentoring side as well, that's more out with the Highlands, down south, across the world. We've got customers around the world. So it gives me a really good opportunity to meet even more people, and you get to learn people's experiences, especially when it comes to mentoring. It's such it's so on topic at the moment. So people share a lot about what their mentors and mentees are going through, how they need to run the program, how it can be valuable to them. So overall, meeting people and learning their experiences and making connections is by far the best part of my job at the moment.
A real people person.
Yeah, really enjoy it. I'll be honest, there's a few free dinners and breakfasts in there as well, and that doesn't put me off. But it's the people that make it, to be honest.
And do you think that's important for any business in the Highlands, is to be involved with these networking agencies or bodies, these business bodies where you are? Because it is then Highland businesses supporting Highland businesses, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I think being in these groups are really good. It's good from a sales marketing perspective. Your name's out there, you're mentioning it every time you're out and about meeting these people, but it's building the relationships as well. So even when you're not in the room with them, and maybe something comes up. If someone thinks, oh, you know what, I've just got a customer that needs help with IT support, and they think, right, I met Ben from SFG, that's the perfect connection to make. And so it's building these relationships where you are supporting each other and referring each other business, and it just stays in the Highlands. And I think that's really important for the kind of community that we're in.
Mm-hmm. And what does the mentorship actually look like? How does that work?
Yeah, so I think it's a great product. I think it's really good what we're doing, and I love the customers that we work with. And so the way that works is someone will come to us, and it'll be someone who runs a mentoring program. Again, it could be at a university, charity, business, but they're running a mentoring program, and they've got mentors and they've got mentees. And they're maybe doing that manually at the moment. So it could be on spreadsheets, Word documents. The way they communicate could be through WhatsApp, texts, emails. So it's very manual and a bit messy. Mm-hmm. What we do is we give them their platform to put all that information onto. So essentially they get their own website. It's their system. Their users can log into it. They can create their own profiles, and then they're able to be matched with, mentors or mentees on the system. They can communicate through the system, so everything's on the one place for admins to view. It's not kind of all over the place. And if we're working with younger adults, we can put kind of safeguarding features on there as well. So that's really important. And then, on there as well, you're able to share resources, share knowledge, log activities, send out evaluations. So everything they kind of need to run their programs are on the system that we give them. And the way we've developed it is that it's all based on feedback from mentoring customers that we have. So the way it's been developed is specifically for mentoring programs, and it's based on that feedback. So it's everything they need is right there for them. So I think it's a really important thing that we're doing. And yeah, the customers that we work with are brilliant. So,
and it's quite a niche thing that you're offering as well.
Yeah, it is. But it's becoming more and more popular, we found. So especially when COVID hit, a lot of these, there was a lot of mentoring programs, and it was easy to keep them face to face or offline. But when COVID hit and everyone was isolated, and you still had to run mentoring programs, and they were maybe even more importantly so during COVID when people were isolated, having those mentoring programs online and being able to connect people while they're kind of by themselves was really important. So we saw a big influx at that point, because I think it kind of accelerated the need for these programs, mentoring programs, to move to an online platform. But it's just kind of stayed at that, it's kept kind of growing since then, because I think not only have they found that they could keep that connection during isolation, but now it's breaking kind of location barriers. So you could connect someone, you could match someone from London with someone in Inverness, and they're able to do that quite easily now on our platform. And yeah, it's just a really good system for them to be able to log everything they're doing when it comes to the mentoring program and run it as they need to.
And is that mentoring program can be do with anything?
Anything. So we just give them the platform, and it's got all the tools there. It's really customizable and flexible, and we help them kind of every step of the way to tweak it how they need it for their program. So that platform's able to kind of support any type of mentoring programs, whether it's buddying, staff, peer-to-peer, widening participation, many others. And each program from each organization's run very differently with different goals, different processes. But again, we can customize the system to be able to kind of fit how different mentoring programs work. But the main thing is the essential features and tools they need are there. It just depends how they want to use them.
Yeah. And do you have a mentor?
Unofficially, yes. Like I said, I've probably had numerous. I have had numerous mentors growing up. I just didn't label them as a mentor at the time. But at the moment in our business, and since I started at SFG, David, who's our managing director, he took me on board, and yeah, he's taught me so much. How to work, how to run a business professionally, and it's been a really good experience. And now, because I'm kind of in that area of working with mentors, mentees, people who run mentoring programs, I can kind of click on and be like, yeah, this is mentoring, isn't it? Without it being officially mentoring. So I'm really grateful to be able to have that opportunity and to be able to work with great people.
Yeah. And this is my last question for you. If you could go back and tell your 20-year-old self maybe a mantra or a piece of advice that you've learned,
Yeah.
what would it be?
A mantra or a piece of advice. It maybe fits into both. It maybe doesn't fit into either. It's more just a kind of saying that I have now. But I would definitely tell myself back then the same thing, is just enjoy the journey, because everything's going to change so much, and things might work out, things might not work out. Don't worry about all that. Just take each experience, whether it's positive or negative, and just enjoy the journey and see what comes from it, because you're always going to get to like where you want to be. So just enjoy the journey.
No, I love that. It's great. 'Cause sometimes we worry, don't we?
Yeah, too
Rather
much.
than enjoying.
Too much, yeah.
No, thank you so much for your time, Ben. This has been great.
No problem at all. It's been excellent being here. It's a fantastic setup, so delighted to be here. And yeah, thank you very much.
No, you're welcome. Thank you.